It's not that I'm shit talking, I'm just telling you the truth. That the baddest man on the planet is coming for your heart, coming for your soul. This is just another body for me to run through.
Joe Warren has only one goal: return to the top of the bantamweight division.
Oh my God, what a knee!
I have a violent focus to get one thing done, to strap another belt on me.
But in tonight's main event, he faces his toughest test yet, an undefeated phenom.
In trouble and he taps!
Darian Caldwell.
I'm ready to put the baddest man in retirement. I'm gonna make an example out of Joe tonight.
You can run your mouth all you want. I'm gonna beat your ass tonight.
Plus, two top featherweight prospects battle as Goiti Yamauchi
Oh my God!
takes on Bubba Jenkins.
How dominant can you be?
Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, starts right now.
Just a mile from the Red River, the legendary border of Texas and Oklahoma, Bellator MMA is live tonight with a series of fights between men on the border of title contention. You know our night will end with a bantamweight showdown of the generations, Joe Warren and Darian Caldwell, to determine a #1 contender for the world title. But it begins with two men right on their tails, Sean Grady, Jimmy Smith, and it begins Jimmy with Baby Joe and the Zohan.
That's right. Saran Kakai says angling and movement, that'll overcome the power of Baby Joe Taimanglo, who is a tank in the Bellator cage.
The Tail of Tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Nothing highlighted physically very similar. The differences are in the style.
A very big night begins with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome as Bellator MMA tonight, presented by Miller Lite, comes to you live from Winstar World Casino and Resort, where we begin now with 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And now, introducing the blue corner, at 5'6", weighing in 135.6 pounds, making his Bellator debut, he brings 12 professional victories, 3 defeats, hailing from Skellefteå, Sweden, introducing Saran Zohan Kakai. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner, at 5'5", weighing in 135.4 pounds. As a professional, he stands with 21 victories, 6 losses with 1 draw. Originally from Joliet, Guam, he fights out of Chula Vista, California, Baby Joe, the Juggernaut Taimanglo. And the referee in charge of the action, Kerry Hatley.
No, let's go. Go back up. Right there. Right there. All right, man, this is what you work for. Right here. You ready? Ready? Let's go to work.
The fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. This is going to be a fascinating contrast in styles.
Yeah, definitely. Kakai wants to angle, move, stay on the outside, pick away at Baby Joe. Baby Joe wings big punches. That's what he does.
When he knocks guys out, he knocks guys out. He has that kind of power.
Yeah, one-shot kind of power. Phenomenally athletic, explosive. Look at how to beat him. He's matched with Rob Emerson. Rob Emerson, very experienced, very technical kickboxer. He's kind of frustrated Baby Joe. Angled and stayed away from the power. That's what Kakai has to do.
Baby Joe has been a slow starter, but a very strong finisher. Download the new and improved Bellator MMA mobile app. Exclusive videos, fighter stats, upcoming events. You can also become the 4th judge, score every round live. Great fights on there. Some of the features that you see. Good jump knee. Good time England. A lot of people ask me, oh, those great features you do before the fights go. Check out that Bellator app. Jimmy just likes to see himself over and over.
Yeah, I pretty much loop it and that's it. People say, "You watch TV?" I'm like, "Just me."
It's your ringtone, man. Come on. Sirwan Kakai, he's a hard guy to know. He is stoic, but you can tell he's felt disrespected in his different stops in the sport. And his place really has not matched his record in his performance.
Baby Joe, he's been here before. The main Bellator fans know this is his chance. You know, the way things are going, you got to beat a guy like Baby Joe in your Bellator debut.
Spotlight on Joe Warren and Derek Caldwell tonight. There is room in that bantamweight division to climb up in line.
This is the room that Joe Taiminglo leaves when he throws punches. They tend to be big, they tend to be winging shots, a lot of room for counter punches. But he has that natural power, doesn't even have to land. Very hard to fling you to the ground. Kai right now a little tight so far. I mean, he's angling well. He's not throwing punches in combination. Still very tight up top. Expected him to be a little bit looser.
Baby Joe's so proud of his heritage in Guam. And he carries that with him into the cage. Not just as inspiration, but in his style. We've had a couple of Kendall Grove fights. And you bring that island with you.
Yes. It's an anaconda position. He can finish this. Let's see if he rolls through. He's got to engage his hips. Right now it's an arm choke. And he's rolling, getting his body into it. Now he's going to walk his legs up. He might get this. Talked about his power. He's powerful on the ground, too.
Here come the legs. Trying to walk over. Kakai trying to slide away.
Legs and hips are the key to this choke. Able to get out. Now going for the guillotine. This is what Baby Joe is built for.
Kakai has never been stopped in 15 professional fights.
He can weather this storm. It's going to cost Baby Joe a lot of energy, and he's out. Difficulty with the guillotine. If you don't get it, it takes a while to refill that gas tank. Burns out your arms.
As you saw in that graphic, born in a Kurdish refugee camp, and going back to 1989, Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Family relocated to Sweden when he was 4 years old. He has never forgotten his heritage. Survived a very strong onslaught here in round one.
Outside straight.
Well, tonight, Baby Joe is the fast starter in this key fight in the bantamweight division. He was an American top team earlier than Sirwan Kakai was. Said, you know, we talked about him being from the islands, very friendly, outgoing. He tried to say hi, hey, how you doing? Reach in for some of the love, you know. And Sirwan Kakai just kind of nodded or whatever. And Baby Joe was, oh, that's how it is. But Sirwan has no memory of that. So it's like one of those, hey, this guy's got beef with you. You blew him off. He's like, I did.
Also, you got to remember, Baby Joe's just a warm guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
You kind of nodding, going, hey, nice to meet you. Isn't good enough for him, man.
I told you, after I first went back to the NBA this fall, after my first summer in MMA, I'm reaching out, trying to give everybody the info, and they're like, hey,
That's MMA, man. That's what bear hug you lift in the air in MMA, man. It's not even weird.
Baby Joe goes back to Guam now, watching an interview he did when he went back on a local TV station, and they're just, you know, I don't want to say worship, but so proud of what he has accomplished, bringing attention to that island. He got that left in. An island that is known primarily from a military standpoint.
Kakai not showing the versatility of offense that he talked about when he asked about this fight. He said, I'm going to be angling, I'm doing so much, I'm going to make Baby Joe miss. He hasn't done a whole lot of that.
Nerves?
I think so. He's a little tight up top, like I said. Not loose with his head move. He's got to slip a lot of punches to open up and counter punch against Baby Joe, and right now he's not doing that. every time Baby Joe throws and misses or throws and brings the hands back lazy, which he has a tendency to do, you have to make him pay for those lapses.
The big four at 135, Dantas and Galvo. And of course, tonight's main event, Darian Caldwell and Joe Warren. But who's number 5 on that list? Joe has 4 wins inside the Bellator cage. Older fighter, more experienced fighter.
See those big reaching punches, gotta make him pay. Can't let him get away with stuff like that. Now, Sirwan Kakai talked about, I'm gonna make him miss, he's gonna run out of gas, he's gonna run out of energy, he's gonna run out of fire. Baby Joe isn't a combination of punches, not a volume kind of punch. He doesn't throw a lot. He throws 1 or 2 big ones. You got to get in and hurt him when he throws those punches and misses. He doesn't throw so many, he's going to wear himself out, is what I'm saying. Generally speaking.
Expended more energy than maybe he normally does in the first round, going for that guillotine. There was legitimate opportunity there.
Yep. Now I see legitimate opportunity for Kakai, but not quite in range to use it. Orthodox reaching takedown. This is a round that neither guy has really put their flag on. Turns it up in his last 2 minutes, I think can take it. Joe Tamina really depends on his awareness. His hands are very low. He really depends on his ability to see punches.
His hands are kind of, it's not just that they're low, they're all over the place.
Yeah. Which, you know, they come from angles that can be generally difficult to see. It's his vulnerability to counter punches. Rob Emerson was able to do it, but Kakai so far not.
There's one.
Here's Cornice, they followed up with the right hand. One shot isn't going to do it against a one-hit wonder. This guy can flatten you with one shot.
Joe Taminglo worked a lot with Dominic Cruz. We talked to him about that the other day. You want to go somewhere for your footwork? There you go.
And about throwing and not hitting and not getting frustrated. Dominic Cruz, you know, an entire sparring session, hit him 1 or 2 times. Both guys have landed single shots, but it's generally been Joe Taminglo moving forward. I think that gives him the slight edge in this round. Neither guy's super effective with the strikes, no grappling. Who's moving forward? Who's the aggressor? So far, Baby Joe.
Particularly coming off a strong round 1. The judges already looking at it as his fight. Another packed house as we head to round number 3. Baby Joe has looked very good. Remember, he's still fairly new at bantamweight. The majority of his fights were 145. He has, generally speaking, gotten better as his fights got longer.
Yeah, Justin Wilcox was the fight that really kind of, made him go down to 135. That guy's a beast at 145.
Your scorecard through 2?
2 rounds to none for Baby Joe. Last one basically based on his ability to keep moving forward. Neither guy landed anything substantial.
I think in terms of the judges, that was a closer round, but it's very hard to see a judge going Kakai in that second round as close as it was.
As close as not a lot happened, but next criteria, aggression, cage control, that was Taminglo. You see now taking advantage. Low right hand, the lead hand of Joe Taminglo.
Kicks down a big part of the Kakai arsenal. Very successful on the ground, but it's down there with strikes.
Now, Taminglo likes to change stances a lot. Leg kicks are a good way to discourage a guy from doing that.
This is what Kakai wanted to do earlier.
A short build, that stocky short build, it's so hard to keep a guy down. If he has any space, he just pops back to his feet. Taminglo is a tree trunk.
always interesting to watch a fighter who loves to come forward. It's part of his DNA when he's up 2 rounds to none.
And also the grappling strategy, taking the guy down, especially a guy like Joe, you know, good balance, short, stocky, good takedown defense, can take you a lot of energy. He said, get a guy to the mat. Well, you're behind 2 rounds to none. Unless you think you can get that submission or get that vicious ground and pound, that's a lot of energy and time when the sand is falling out of your hourglass. Submission-wise, when purple belt and up is pretty standard. I mean, you know what's going on at this stage. So the idea of taking a guy down and going for a quick submission is tough. It's a big gamble.
Clock getting louder now for Sirwan Kakai.
What's frustrating is this is stuff he should have been doing earlier on in the fight, taking advantage of these loose punches, but maybe Baby Joe's slowing down a little bit. That window's a little bit bigger, but it's a good strategy by Kakai. He's just implementing it very late in the fight.
You said from the beginning, whether it was nerves, whatever it was, it just took Sirwan Kakai too long to get going.
And to Baby Joe's credit, he started out much faster than he normally does.
Back fist, almost a spinning back elbow there. Again, he didn't create that distance.
And we're seeing the weakness of that low hands style. Round number 3, a little tired. A lot harder to see those strikes come. If your hands up, you don't have to see them.
And he's still looking to go forward.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to do it. That's his style. Real signs of fatigue. That shin is just dangling out there, but not able to find the target. It's Kakai.
Remember, Baby Joe spent a lot of energy in round number 1 going for that submission. And it leads to things like that, which is a half-hearted spinning nothing. The brain and the body stop working in sync with fatigue. And he's taking some good shots here late. It's a very good round for Sirwan Kakai, but it's too little too late. Baby Joe still coming forward. And it goes all 15. This will be an interesting one. Did Baby Joe do enough in the first 2 rounds to get a decision and continue to climb the ladder at 135? We'll find out on the other side.
Oh, I don't know.
With the flag of his native Guam draped around his shoulders, Baby Joe Taiminglo hoping he did enough in the first 2 rounds to get himself a decision and move up at 135. Let's check out the Black Card Premium Spice Rum Replay, the bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core. This is early round 1.
Yeah, choke attempts by Joe Taiminglo, the anaconda and then the guillotine. Power attempts to finish the fight. Slow down in round number 3. Will that cost him?
How did you see it?
I saw it 2 rounds to 1. Joe Taiminglo took rounds 1 and 2 on my scorecard.
Let's find out.
Having gone the distance inside, the Bellator cage will go. Tier 3 cage side judges David Sutherland, Dan Mathieson, and Don Turnage, all of which score the fight exactly the same at 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision. Baby Joe, the Juggernaut Taiminglo.
Jimmy, he fought a very mature fight.
Very mature fight, but we saw a little bit of that power that cost him later. Needs to, fill those gaps, and he'll be ready for the upper echelon of bantamweight.
Warren Caldwell, our main event later, but we're just getting started.
Still to come, it's Warren versus Caldwell in a crucial bantamweight battle. But up next, Bubba, the Highlight Kid Jenkins.
Curtis is done. He is done.
battles submission ace Koichi Yamauchi.
That was beyond impressive.
The action continues when Bellator MMA live on Spike returns. Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, live on Spike, is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
He has fought unforgettable wars inside the Bellator cage. Joe Warren, two-time, two-division world champion, looking to serve notice. And he wants what he calls his belt back. But tonight, will youth be served instead? Undefeated, unchallenged, unfazed by the spotlight. The former NCAA champion, Darian Caldwell, getting ready for the first of what could be many main events. Locker Cam brought to you by Nasacort Allergy 24. Nothing is more effective for treatment of nasal allergy symptoms. It is great to see you. I'm Sean Grande. The battle lines have been drawn. For years in Bellator, it was about the franchise players. King Mo, Michael Chandler, the Pitbull brothers, and Joe Warren. But that group is under attack, not only from the big-name free agents that seem to be signing by the day, but on the other side, from a ferocious pack of young lions who want youth to be served right now. We welcome in Jimmy Smith. We talk about the young lions at the head of that class right now. That's Darian Caldwell.
I mean, how many times have we said it in private? The best kept secret in Bellator. I think the most dangerous weapon in the bantamweight division.
But tonight, he steps into the spotlight and way up in class.
That's right. Joe Warren is that guy. Darian Caldwell, explosive, athletic, great transitions from wrestling to jiu-jitsu. But his opponent tonight, Joe Warren, every time you count him out is when he fights at his best. A Greco-Roman wrestler. It's about the grind, staying close, wearing his opponent out, dragging them in deep water, and drowning them.
This fight undoubtedly will determine the #1 contender for the bantamweight world title. Hey, we talk about young lions. We've got a couple for you tonight. And the featherweight division, the NCAA champion Bubba Jenkins and the 23-year-old phenom, Japanese-born but raised in Brazil, Gochi, at the altar of MMA.
Growing up in Curitiba, I was surrounded by champions. I've been training for this moment my entire life.
I am the best featherweight in the world, and I will prove tonight I'm coming for that belt. I will destroy Bubba Jenkins.
What? Who? Man, I'm a hitman. I'm dangerous, I'm fast, I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm witty, and I'm gonna be trying to knock his eyes through his scalp.
He likes to talk, but inside the cage, there's no friendship.
I'm going to destroy him and show the world that this is my time.
Scott Coker, I am the next champion.
I'm putting a verbal eviction notice on the doors of all the 145-pound divisions because you gotta pay the piper. And I'm coming for my cash, that ass, and that belt.
Hey, while Bubba Jenkins was racking up eviction notices and that national title, that man, Goichi Yamauchi, was racking up first-round submissions in the pros. Their paths have finally led them to each other. Bubba and Goichi, Bellator's next generation, takes the stage next. Shout out to the phenomenal featherweight world champion Daniel Strauss as he continues to recover from that unforgettable victory. When he gets back, boy, that line behind him is going to be long and dangerous, and the winner of this one is going to have his name plastered right on it.
All right, and the loser takes a long fall, and they know it.
The Tale of Tape, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Only 4 losses between these two fighters, but they've gotten there in very different ways.
Bellator MMA presented by Miller Lite now moves to the featherweight division. 3 5-minute rounds brought to you tonight by Nasacort Allergy 24-hour. Nothing is more effective for the treatment of nasal allergy symptoms, even congestion. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 146 pounds even. Impressive as a professional. He brings 19 wins, just 2 losses. Hailing from Curitiba, Brazil, introducing Koichi Yamauchi. And across the cage tonight, fighting out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 146 pounds. His professional record, 10 victories, just 2 defeats. From Virginia Beach, he fights out of Long Beach, California, Bubba, the Highlight Kid Jenkins. In charge of the action, your referee, Jason Herzog.
First round, buddy, you ready? Buddy, you ready? Fight!
The fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time.
Big question leading into this fight. Bubba Jenkins, the wrestler, would he take Goichi Yamauchi down, or would he sprawl and brawl? Who's made the advances in their kickboxing? That's the question.
That is not a guard you want to end up in. We saw Yamauchi last at Mohegan Sun last October against the king of pancrase, Isao Kobayashi, and it was a dominant performance. One of the most impressive ones we saw in 2015.
Very true. And after a considerable layoff, I didn't see much ring rust at all.
It was almost the opposite. It was almost as if he got better in that time. It was like that little career restart, like hit the reset button.
And look at the flexibility of Bubba Jenkins. You're going to take down 9 out of 10 guys with this.
Download the free Spike app with full episodes of your favorite shows anywhere, anytime for free. Now available on the App Store and Google Play.
And this is the kind of thing Goichi Yamauchi does, leaping for the back. Man, and he's got it, both hooks in. It's like a combination of Japanese and Brazilian style submission. He goes for it, but with great technique, great pressure.
Bubba Jenkins was very clear in scouting Goichi Yamauchi. This is the best fighter I have ever fought. Remember, he's been there with Georgie Karahanya, that memorable submission that Georgie had to tell the referee that Bubba Jenkins was out.
Yep.
Perfect example to me, that loss to Georgie Karahanya, of losses being a good thing in MMA.
Man, he's in a tough spot early on in the fight. Not a lot of sweat. Hard to get a guy like this off your back, man. With those long legs, it's a nightmare.
I love it when Jonathan Snowden checks in. This is a fight. Listen, Jimmy, you and I, our Twitter timelines were full of conversations about Kimbo slicing down to 5,000. This is a fight you and I have been waiting for a long time.
This is when we want the Twitter talk to be about.
You can, and listen, this is what a full-service restaurant is all about.
Yeah. Look, Goichi going for that rear naked. He's going for just a power version. It's not under the chin. He can still crank his way to victory. He doesn't do it.
You talk about experienced guys, and Goichi is 23. He knew he didn't have it, and he let it go. He didn't waste energy.
Jiu-jitsu, this guy very experienced. And Bubba, strong neck. Not going to just crank that guy. Been wrestling his whole life. Once again, it's up high. In the crank position. What Bubba's yet to do is find a way out of this position. Defended the submissions, but until he can get Goichi off his back. This is very fatiguing for Bubba Jenkins. He's holding up his weight. He's holding up Goichi's weight. It's fatiguing for Goichi because he has to keep stress on his legs, keep his hips activated the whole time. But he's used to this kind of fight. Bubba's carrying a lot of weight right now.
But on the old standard of who would you rather be, pretty easy call.
Goichi all day in this position.
He might stay in it all day.
Yeah. Triangle body locked, hard to break.
What do you do when you're Bubba Jenkins and you're in a spot you've never been in before? That's what made this matchup so fascinating, was the contrast in styles, not just the stakes, and they are high right now, very high at 145.
Strategically, if I'm his corner right now, 53 seconds left, this just wasn't your round. Make sure there's a round two. Goichi locking it up over the chin. He's cranking, can constrict the breathing, but it's usually more of a crank than that, but
Goichi looks like he's a half step away from taking a nap. He looks so comfortable.
He gets his arm under the neck. It's Bubba Jenkins going to be taking a nap. Done a good job in defending so far, though. But frustrating round for Bubba Jenkins. Not able to get his game going at all.
We will have some news a little bit later on tonight about another top contender, the former featherweight world champion Patricio Pitbull, when we'll see him next on Spike. But Goichi Yamauchi controls position in round number 1. Bubba Jenkins with a quick welcome. Dream making it work. His wife Ashley, and they arcade side as Bubba Jenkins tries to get himself on track here in round 2.
Fight!
In the Kobayashi fight, Yamauchi, when we close our eyes and think of that fight, we think of what he did on the ground, but he was very good on his feet.
Dropped him on the feet as well. You know, it's like he presents similar problems on the ground as on the feet. He's rangy, he's quick, hard to time him, hard to figure him out. And that's what we were all wondering about.
Would he try it? Dive right into the guard. Goichi's perfectly happy right here. Do you use your wrestling, your world-class wrestling, offensively or just defensively?
Well, he didn't think the stand-up was going his way. That's the good news, is if you're Goichi Yamauchi as well, I must have been doing well in the stand-up, but don't want to get too comfortable in guard.
Bubba Jenkins started at Penn State. And in the national tournament, when he was at Penn State, he ran into a young wrestler from NC State named Darian Caldwell, who will fight Joe Warren tonight in the main event. And we're going to see Fernando Gonzalez and Gilbert Smith. That could be a critical fight in the welterweight division, which is taking so many twists and turns over the last few months with the arrival of Benson Henderson.
And for the Kimura, trying to lock up the left arm of Bubba Jenkins. Look at the way he's activating his hips, walking over the head. Bubba's got to put a lot of weight on that left side. What this does, too, I mean, not only are you in a submission, it also stifles the offense of Bubba Jenkins. He has to worry about getting submitted.
Jenkins took him down, but Goichi's body language was, come into my web, said the spider to the fly.
Look at that flexibility, those legs all the way around him. Tenacious with that Kimura, not letting it go.
15 of Goichi's 19 victories by submission, including the first ever submission win put on Isao Kobayashi last October.
But right now, playing all defense, trying to get some short shots with the right hand, with the right elbow. Nothing of substance yet. Now he's out. Nice left hand. So he's controlling the right arm of Yamauchi. Good position, that seatbelt hold. Goichi able to get it back.
Goichi in a tough spot against the fence here.
Yep. That's a close camera.
Very good look at it. We referenced Kimbo and Dada earlier. The controversial finish between Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock. If you missed it, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, free on Spike. Watch it again, judge for yourself, also including some never-before-seen footage. And the Derek Campos Melvin Gillard fight, in which our little twosome here, Jimmy, became a threesome.
Oh, Mike Tyson, I miss him.
When's he coming back, by the way?
I don't know if Hart can handle a whole lot of that, but it was fun while it lasted. Isolate the right arm now. Switching attacks going to the other side. And in triangle danger. A lot of attacks from here, but look at the arm being trapped. Man, good ground and pound by Bubba Jenkins. He's
with one arm.
That's what I mean about being a little too comfortable in the guard. All you're thinking about is the submission game, but Bubba Jenkins doing some damage down here.
Went over the top right, and he lost round one, and he knew it. And he made the decision that even down here, as dangerous as Goichi's guard is, I can still win a round on him.
And I think he is so far.
Yeah, I do too.
Short stuff, and this is where Bubba Jenkins' body works for him. A little stockier, a little shorter, ground and pound is easier, doesn't need a lot of space. Short elbows, short punches, he can do damage.
Very hard for Goichi. How do you simulate a national champion wrestler?
Gotta go to the States. Go to a very good gym.
You got 15 seconds. I want you to cut him open here in these 15 seconds. Heavy hit. Keep it down. Stay tight. All right.
Bubba Jenkins turns the table in round number 2. Comfortable diving into the guard of Goichi Yamauchi, and we're going to round 3. In the shark tank that is 145 in Bellator, we didn't figure there'd be a lot separating Goichi Yamauchi and Bubba Jenkins. Through 2 rounds, that's how you see it, right?
Have it all tied up. Bubba Jenkins going back to that corner must think, okay, that's how I'm going to win. Take down and ground and pound. A little surprised he's starting out kickboxing. He looks loose, he looks confident.
Yeah, trying to set that up.
Setting up the takedown. Look at the power on that double leg. How many guys in the world can stop that? By the way, if you haven't seen it, I know you mentioned his match against Darion Caldwell in the NCAAs. It's on YouTube. If you're a wrestling fan, that's a fantastic match.
Yeah, you and I both tweeted that out this week. Just find it on our timelines if you're not on YouTube. You can see the cut. Obviously, Goichi, it's over the left eye. Is that spot okay?
It's just not an open bleeder yet. It looks more like a scuff mark or a slight abrasion than a serious cut. Should be fine. See the pressure Bubba Jenkins is trying to put on Goichi Yamauchi. It's one thing when you grapple with guys like Bubba Jenkins, they put so much physical pressure on you. Wrestlers like that have been doing it their whole lives.
Keep working.
The best way to put it is wrestlers work submission defense their whole lives. They just don't know it until they start MMA. Elbows in, head up, good posture, strong with the hips. I mean, that's all submission defense stuff. They do it their whole lives.
Get your head from out of there. We don't want to be here.
Now, what's in Goichi's head after round 2? He can't stay here now.
Yeah, I think I would go from a submission game to more of a push-off, get space, scrambling kind of game. Hope that Bubba Jenkins makes a mistake coming up.
Heavy hand, just drop your hip. Drop your hip.
Catch him in transition. That's what you're hoping for. Straight on guard game. So far, Bubba Jenkins looking good. Going for the sweep. That's what I mean, these scramble positions. You can't let this become a straight-on guard position. Bubba Jenkins knows how to defend this. Trying to angle, isolate the right arm of Bubba Jenkins.
Goichi Yamauchi has won 14 of 15. He's been beaten just once in the last 4.5 years.
Go for the armbar.
Come on, don't you relax here.
Gotta pull his shoulder out. Put his right shoulder up and his left shoulder down. Shrug that shoulder out. Goichi's gonna go hard for it. This is desperation time.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes left.
No panic so far yet by Bubba Jenkins. I don't think you want to do that. You want to start punching. Take the pressure off. Because it takes pressure off your arm. You got to keep your arms together. You got to worry about defense before you worry about offense. Goichi, though, a little fatigued. He's having trouble straightening out the arm. Now he's going for it.
National champion wrestler, body position, leverage.
If I'm Goichi Yamauchi, unlock my legs and lock the left leg around the back of the head there and try and crank. Now he's going to the sweep. Doesn't get it. Yeah, that was close. Gotta wonder if you're Goichi, and I came that close and I didn't get it.
How are judges looking at that?
I mean, it's definitely points for Yamauchi, trying to finish the fight, effective grappling, but does it counter all the ground and pound he's eaten throughout this round? I don't think so yet. could argue the takedown, the control here of Bubba Jenkins is effective grappling as well.
Goichi going rubber guard.
Attempts to finish the fight count as more, but that was one. Bubba Jenkins has been landing ground and pound throughout the round. That's the balancing act. Oh, nice stuff. See that arm underneath the leg of Bubba Jenkins? That's how you sweep, but you can get that arm trapped. You can't defend punches on his right side, on Yamauchi's right. I'm sorry, Goichi Yamauchi's right side, because your arm's trapped under the leg. It's kind of an all or nothing position.
Bubba Jenkins really stayed calm and cool during this whole thing. And he's trying to finish strong, trying to take it any indecision about round 3 away from the judges. And a thunderous finish by Bubba Jenkins. This will be a fascinating one as we go to the judges. Did Bubba Jenkins do enough in round number 3?
What's up, Virginia?
Be comfortable taking it to the ground. Those numbers indicate the answer was yes.
And to me, that's the story of the fight, especially rounds 2 and 3.
Let's check out as you look at Bubba Jenkins, the Black Guard Premium Spice Rum Replay, the bold 93 proof rum is edgy to the core. Goichi had a couple chances to go for it early and late.
Yeah, big trouble early on in the fight, and then in round number 2, Bubba Jenkins getting his takedown going, his ground and pound, very effective. Round number 3, man, these arm bars very close. Couldn't finish. Last one, little slam to end the round, but it was ground and pound versus submission. I went with the ground and pound.
Great submission defense against an elite submission artist. Your scorecard.
2 rounds to 1 for Bubba Jenkins. Round 2 and 3 to me were his.
Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 complete rounds, we'll go to your 3 king-side judges. Your first judge, Jacob Montalvo, scores the fight 29-28. David Sutherland sees it 30-27. And Dan Mathieson scores it 29-27. All see it for the winner by unanimous decision. Bubba, the Highlight Kid Jenkins.
A future so bright, he has to wear those shades. Bubba Jenkins with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with a very happy Bubba Jenkins. What were you thinking? Round number 1, he took your back early, all on defense. Also in round number 3, some very close arm bars. What were you thinking in those submission situations, man?
Well, I hate to start out cliche, but I'm unapologetically spiritual, so I got to give thanks to Yahweh, my God, and my Lord and Savior. I obviously got to do that. Shout out to TipperFighter.com. Y'all got to go show your boy some love with this swag hat. TipperFighter.com. But I was thinking, man, that I was in trouble twice. When we were on our feet, he had a pretty deep choke. I mean, it was on my jaw, so it wasn't really on my neck, but it still had a lot of pressure on it. You know, he's a really good submissionist. And that arm bar, I felt like I could get out, but I didn't want to, like, hesitate there. So I kind of tried to hammer fist a little bit, you know.
Now, this was a Young Lions fight. This was a contender fight. I think the deepest division in Bellator. Where does this put you?
This puts me at the top, man. I know the 2 Daniels are in front of me, so, you know, I want to go after them, obviously. Everybody knows I lost to Jory Karakanyan, so I like to see him. But, yeah, I let the bosses call me out and let me do what I got to do, you know. It's like I said, I'm a hitman. You put that name on the line, I go get that ass, that cash or that belt.
Can't wait to see it. Bubba Jenkins, give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen.
He is one of a kind, and he is in the mix. The 2 Daniels, Daniel Weissel and the world champion, Daniel Strauss. Ashley and Dream, living a dream, watching Daddy come up with a very big win. Locker Cam brought to you by Nasacort Allergy 24. Nothing is more effective for treatment of nasal allergy symptoms. Fernando Gonzalez is a grinder, short notice fights, different opponents, different weight classes, but he has found the home at welterweight with 4 straight wins and gaining momentum. Momentum that this man hopes to stop. Gilbert Smith has served his country, he serves his family, and tonight can serve notice on the big stage.
Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, live on Spike, is brought to you by Blackheart Premium Spiced Rum. Bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core. The official rum of Bellator MMA. And by WinStar World Casino. Stay a little longer.
Bellator MMA is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. A ton of momentum right now behind the Wolf, Darrion Caldwell, and he is hungry like one, unbeaten, unchallenged in 8 professional fights. Stepping into the main event tonight. But for years, Joe Warren has been the place that momentum goes to die. Look at the records of the men he has beaten when he beat them. Think about this. Joe Warren is 14-0 against virtual unbeatens. Pretty staggering record for the baddest man on the planet. And speaking of the planet, Bellator is going to see a lot of it in 2016. We are headed to Italy on April 16th. Look at some of the names you will see in Bellator MMA action on the 16th of April when we go to Italy. Patricky Pitbull coming off that spectacular knockout of Ryan Couture. Derek Campos off that spectacular knockout of Melvin Gillard in Houston. And then 6 days later, we can now tell you that Patricio Pitbull will return to action against John Teixeira in the featherweight co-main event. But in the main event for the welterweight world title, guess who's coming to dinner?
Fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, introducing Ben Henderson.
Ben Henderson comes to Bellator MMA with high expectations.
These are the WEC World Championship belt and the UFC World Championship belt, and they belong to Mr. Benson Henderson. There's a real good chance that there's going to be more belts on that wall, and they'll have Bellator written on them instead of UFC.
I knew that signing with Bellator was going to be something big.
Former UFC champ Benson Henderson leaving the organization.
I think this is a fantastic signing by Bellator.
I needed something new, needed something different, and Bellator is one heck of a challenge.
Benson throughout his career has always been about big moments. And so stepping up to challenge for the welterweight belt in Bellator, I think it's the right thing. I think we're going to shine like a star on that night.
April 22nd, Bellator 153. Ben Henderson challenges Andrei Koreshkov for the welterweight title. Andrei Koreshkov, he's ice cold, just like you're dealing with an assassin.
Oh, big head kick! Huge right hand!
Your name's on his list today, and you gotta go.
When Andre got the call, he was thrilled. And he's definitely going to be an underdog going into this fight against Benson Henderson. And I think he loves that role. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
You want to see how good you really are? Let's find out. I'm going to beat your butt. I'm going to get my hand raised. I'm going to leave that cage with a blue belt around my waist. I'm going to have fun doing it too.
On April 22nd, Ben Henderson makes his Bellator MMA debut when he battles Andrei Koreshkov for the welterweight world title. Also that night, former featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull returns to the cage against John Teixeira. And Irish Brennan Ward is on the hunt for his next knockout.
I go out there ruthless. It's not going to distance.
The action goes down on April 22nd. Henderson, Koreshkov, 5-3 on Spike.
When you're the #1 free agent in all of MMA, you don't dip your toe into the water, Jimmy. You go for it all on your first night.
He could not be taking on a bigger challenge. The champ at 170 pounds, a very hard hitter in Koreshkov. Don't sleep on that guy.
Interested to see Brennan Ward's performance on that night. He was in line for a welterweight world title shot. Now, when that is over, the debut of Bellator Kickboxing from Italy. Melvin Manoff, kind of an interesting month for him. He will challenge in May for the middleweight world title, but he's going to fight kickboxing first.
And taking a huge risk, but he's a guy, he wants to stay busy. He has knockout power. Amazing kickboxer.
Now, whoever comes out of the Koreshkov-Ben Henderson fight as the welterweight world champion, they may soon know the name Fernando Gonzalez.
Gilbert Smith wants to make sure he doesn't know it all, and Gilbert Smith is a name you think about at 170.
Now, Fernando Gonzalez's favorite quote, just win ball games and the rest will take care of itself. He has won 4 straight on his way to what he hopes will be a welterweight world title shot. His opponent tonight, Gilbert Smith, has already won plenty in his life, rising from the rough neighborhoods of New York and Jersey City, an Army vet, master's degree, and tonight, the biggest fight of his life. When Gilbert Smith entered the cage, he immediately went to a cartwheel, an homage to the capoeira background. That's what brought him into this in the first place, and it led him to jiu-jitsu, which eventually led him to MMA. Fernando Gonzalez has taken a more traditional path. We last saw him in the kickboxing ring against Paul Semtex Daly. But tonight, an important fight for both in the welterweight division. The tale of the tape brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
And look at the reach advantage of Gilbert Smith. Will he use it against Gonzalez, who loves to stand forehead to forehead and bang?
Presented by Miller Lite. Bellator MMA now features welterweights inside the cage, set for 3 5-minute rounds, and brought to you by Blackheart Premium Spice Rum, bold 93 proof rum that's edged into the core, the official rum of Bellator MMA. And now, first, the blue corner, at 5'9", weighing in 170.4 pounds tonight. He makes his Bellator debut with 12 professional victories, 4 defeats, fighting out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, Gilbert Chocolate Thunder Smith. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'9", he weighed in 171 pounds even. The veteran professional, outstanding inside the Bellator cage. 4 wins, 13 losses from Menifee, California, Fernando, the Menifee Maniac Gonzalez. In charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy.
Fernando Gonzalez says just win ball games. That's what he's been doing.
Get up.
Fight Clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Fernando Gonzalez been stepping on a lot of toes with his comments. Says that everybody's ducking me. But style-wise, he doesn't step on toes. He steps on necks. He steps right forward. He loves the center of the cage, and he throws punches in volume. That's what he does.
As most of you know out there on the interwebs, this was originally Michael Venom Page scheduled to face Fernando Gonzalez, and that was going to be his first big step-up fight.
Guess what Gonzalez said about that? He's running, everybody's running from me.
Fernando Gonzalez in this welterweight division that has Brennan Ward in it, who had a successful trip to Japan. It has Paul Daly in it, who seems preoccupied, and rightly so, with Josh Koscheck. Fernando Gonzalez is essentially walking around with a theoretical t-shirt saying, why not me?
And a chip on his shoulder. He's one of those guys, managerially, if I'm in charge of a fighter's career, I keep them way away from Fernando Gonzalez. He's just tough. Even in a win, you're not going to look good. It's going to cost you a lot. But a guy like Gilbert Smith, who's hungry and wants that opportunity, perfect fight for him.
Gilbert Smith's biggest profile fight, the Ultimate Fighter finale, the loss to Bubba McDaniel.
Hard for the guillotine now. Open guard, though. It'll be hard to finish without your hips behind it, but Fernando back like that, he might be able to get it anyway.
Gonzalez has been finished. He's been subbed 5 times. He's been knocked out twice, but a lot of it, nice counter takedown, although he stays in the guillotine. A lot of those early fights, he will tell you, a lot of short notice fights. He lived that journeyman's life.
Yeah, I mean, he came up in the same circuit I started with. When they'll call you with 2 weeks notice, say we got to fight for you at middleweight. You show up, they have a light heavyweight there, and it's the fighter don't get paid. That happened all the time. He's from that same kind of circuit.
You get there and they're like, define middleweight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Gonzalez almost got that knee in.
He got it in. He might be out. No, he's still going. Thought he went out for a second.
The main event will decide the #1 contender for the Bantamweight World Title, the postponed World Title fight originally scheduled last week between Marcos Galvo and Eduardo Dantas.
On foot. Head in the center.
Tito Ortiz standing by like the rest of us, fascinated to see how that one comes out. And you know, it's almost hard if you're part of that old guard. How can you not side with the old guard? Because these young lions, they're coming fast.
They're tough. Both these guys spending so much energy in this opening round. You see the strategy here. Gilbert Smith Really going hard for the takedown.
Fernando Gonzalez, Jimmy, has been so resourceful in his fights. Going to the second and third. Okay, this isn't working. I'm just going to hang around here.
Just stays in your face, doesn't give you any room to breathe. He's catching Gilbert. Every time Gilbert goes for these takedowns, there's any space to punch, he's punching.
We talked a lot, Jimmy, about the gas tank of Gilbert Smith.
Yes.
And he is confident that Gilbert Smith has great heart and he's a tough opponent, but he does not have the gas tank to stay with me for 3 rounds.
All right for one. Going for the guillotine himself. Going hard for it. Arm in can be harder to finish. He's staying with it though.
Gilbert Smith, such a big welterweight.
Going over to get out of the guillotine. That's the price you pay to relieve the pressure on your neck. You're basically sweeping yourself, taking yourself out of top position. That means it was working.
John McCarthy sees the same wardrobe malfunction that you do, but he does not want to stop the fight at a critical moment.
Nope, not at all. Just trying to pull it up. Now is not the time. Might be constricting his movement a little bit, though.
Gilbert Smith, good job.
Elbows. You gotta have that catch position.
Smith, though, 12 wins, only 1 by knockout.
Short time. Hand under
The
his
strategy
chin.
is in his submission game.
Good. Hey, post your hand on his forehead. Drop a ball. Short time.
Gilbert Smith stepping into the big stage here, trying to play spoiler to Fernando Gonzalez's win streak in a very strong round number 1. Gilbert Smith looked like he might be in trouble. Up close and personal, look at his escape. Round 2 is next. Always amazed how often I find myself asking what round it is.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention at all to the round. I never have any idea. I wait for it to appear on the screen. Or you to say it. Go ahead.
Round 2.
Yeah, that's how I know.
How did you see round 1?
I saw it 10-9 Gonzalez, but Smith finished strong. A lot of judges emphasize that last minute, last 30 seconds, so we'll see.
Particularly when they're waiting for something. You haven't made up your mind, you're 4 minutes in, 4:15 in.
Good one for a lot of takedowns. None of them really worked until the end. And every time he would go for one, Gonzalez would make him pay.
Strong start here, round number 2 for Gilbert Smith. Comfortable at range. Bellator fans want the same gear the fighters wear. Head to BellatorShop.com now for all your official Bellator MMA merch.
Striking styles, they're very different. Gilbert Smith throws power shots one at a time. Gonzalez tends to wade in for a 4 and 5, but not really a one-shot guy typically. He's having trouble getting his offense going. Nice sprawl, though.
Oh, yeah. Gilbert Smith looks faster.
He's definitely the better athlete. Gonzalez has made a career out of being underestimated. Carl Amasu, Carl Parisi, and Mario Zoromskis, much bigger names. He came out on top. As he's controlling both legs with his own legs, it's a great way to transition him out. The problem is the fence gets him away. You can't flatten your opponent out like you could in jiu-jitsu on a jiu-jitsu match.
Curtis Millender, that was a huge fight for Curtis Millender because he was coming off the Brennan Ward loss and really needed the win back.
And was winning. He was until the end of the fight. Nano Gonzalez, no quitting this guy.
Gotta work, come on.
Around long enough has Fernando Gonzalez to have fought in Strike Force. 5 fights in the WEC. His 5th fight here in Bellator.
He said he was always just missing that elite level, just missing that big fight. Almost, retired until Bellator gave him his shot, and he's made the most of it. One of the stories I love about this sport is it only takes one win to put you right back where you need to be. He's had 4.
What happens after either Benson Henderson or Andre Koreshkov walks out of Mohegan Sun with the welterweight world title? Then who's next? You could conceivably, if Brennan Ward wins again, he's on a multi-fight win streak. Fernando Gonzalez, if he wins tonight, would be on a 5-fight win streak. Once Paul Daly scratches that itch from 6 years ago, he is in the conversation.
Look at the physical pressure of Gilbert Smith, not giving Gonzalez any space at all.
Now just hold, let's go.
John McCarthy, not the most patient guy in the world,
but he understands the ground. He understands when guys are working. It may not look to most fans like that, but he knows the difference.
Gonzalez changes the narrative here.
Problem is, he doesn't have a lot of time to turn it around in the eyes of the judges. So far, it's been a Gilbert Smith round. Just powers his way back up, double leg position. Easy takedown.
Gilbert Smith trains with Joe Warren. Victory. Colorado training at altitude.
Come on, gotta work.
Now you're pushing the patience line here on John McCarthy.
Gotta work.
He gets in. He gets in so close.
In neck crank position, but it's hard to get that to work without your hips activated. Gilbert Smith on his hips. Can't really crank that much.
Let's go, get it up. Come on.
That was it. Got the warning. Trying to make an impact here late in round number 2. 1982, and Herschel Walker, who played for Donald Trump for the New Jersey Generals in the USFL. Whatever happened to that? Anything going on?
Guy just faded out after that, man. That's a shame. Footnote.
Herschel went to Georgia, not Trump University, by the way. All right, how do you see this now through round 2?
I see it all even. I gave Smith round number 2. All up to this round number 3. Gonzalez is used to that.
Yeah, this is where he is.
What he lives for.
Oh, he ate a big left there.
Gilbert Smith still showing a lot of gas. This is what Gonzalez has had trouble doing. Stopping the takedown.
See, things that have worked for Gonzalez in the past, Gilbert Smith is just too strong and too good positionally.
This build's good for him, man. The guy is strong. Nice turn on the reversal here. Got that wrestling ride.
And unlike round 2, the reversal for Gonzalez comes early in the round.
In the first 2 rounds, the guy who started out winning had a turnaround late in the round. The other guy ended up on top. This time, like you said, Gonzalez on top earlier. That is key.
Gilbert Smith kept himself in a bad position there. Everybody wants to talk about MMA judging and it should be this, should be that. These are very difficult fights to judge.
What I always tell people is, think about how often it's controversial in boxing when they're only doing one thing. They're just punching.
And you often have many more rounds to get the separation.
Hey, Gil, pull his hips
MMA, so many different things to judge. I would not want to be a judge in this.
There's boxing news coming up. BBC on Spike getting set to return. Stay tuned for that. Of course, the main event. Marion Caldwell and Joe Warren, battle of the generations. Marion Caldwell will have to cool his jets while Joe Warren gets another shot at the title. The Wolves rise through the bantamweight division. About to reach the top of the division. And if that wasn't enough, tomorrow night, free on Spike. The most watched event, Bellator history, and certainly the most talked about. Bilbo Dada, Gracie Shamrock. You decide for yourself tomorrow night. That'll include some footage you have never seen before. And some footage you did see a couple of weeks ago in Houston and loved.
By Gonzalez to win back this round in this fight. He's done it before. Can he do it again?
Starts in half. Trying to use the ground and pound to set up the pass.
Right hand frame. I need you to dig in right here, Jamal. Let's go. Position change here. Use your speed. Use your guard.
And a razor thin first two rounds. This may be enough.
Saying the guy who was winning the round at the end, the other guy comes back. Difference is Fernando Gonzalez had his moments earlier in this round. Will this final flurry be enough?
This is a tough one to call. Smith, danger of giving his back. You wonder all that energy he used early. Remember, Fernando Gonzalez talked to us about the gas tank of Gilbert Smith. Would he have enough in minute 15? Smith throws the knee. That was dangerous. They see the finish line. They will finish right in the middle. Fernando Gonzalez and Gilbert Smith, a razor-thin margin as we reach the end of round number 3.
Good job. Good job.
Critical fight for position in the welterweight division. Did Fernando Gonzalez do enough to win his 5th consecutive fight?
I'm gonna come look at you real quick. Just relax.
If you're looking for numbers to help you decide this fight, you're not going to get much help.
Yeah, Gonzalez a little busier, landing at a slightly higher percentage, but this is a coin flip fight.
How did you see it?
10-9. Smith in the last round, 29-28, but by the barest of margins. I mean, seriously, a coin flip round. Could go either way.
That third round is going to be decisive. Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 kingside judges. Your first judge, Don Turnage, sees the fight 29-28. He scores it for Smith. Your second judge, Dan Mathieson, scores it 29-28. He scores it for Gonzalez. Your third and final judge at kingside, David Sutherland, scores the fight 29-28 for the winning by split decision. Fernando, the Menifee Maniac Gonzalez.
We told you it would be close, and it was. So Fernando Gonzalez has won his 5th straight. He'll be watching closely April 22nd for Koreshkov and Ben Henderson. We'll all be watching on May 14th for one of the biggest co-main events in Bellator history, the end of a story that began last fall.
Short notice and gave me a warning.
It is here. Dynamite is underway. Oh! Big shot by King Mo. Marcel is hurt. A visceral and dominant Bellator debut for Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis.
Moving on to the finals against King Mo. What's your message to him? Be ready, baby, I'm coming.
The fight that should have happened, but didn't.
The ribs of King Mo.
King Mo got hurt, he couldn't advance. He couldn't even pick up his arm.
is about to go down.
I'm back. People about to pay. He's gonna get the beat down of a lifetime.
May 14th in San Jose, it's King Mo versus Phil Davis.
I'm going to be exactly his worst nightmare. I'm going to put his hope into a small little box, put a lock on it, and then we're going to finish the fight.
Oh my God! It's over!
Phil Davis!
Plus Josh Thompson versus Michael Chandler.
The hype right now is around me and Chandler.
And it's over just like that.
When Josh Thompson signed with Bellator, I knew there was no way that he was getting out of this organization without fighting me.
Oh my God!
Chandler all over it.
I want to go out there and stamp my name on Chandler. Get him in, get him out.
King Mo, Phil Davis, Josh Thompson, Michael Chandler. 2 fights that had to happen. 2 fights the world will be watching live and free. May 14th on Spike.
What a night that will be. Here's the toughest question, Jimmy. I'm going to ask you all night. Which fight are you looking forward to the most?
You're not cornering me. I think both are going to be fantastic. And I get to be there to see both of them. It doesn't matter. I don't have to pick.
And just 6 days after that extraordinary double main event, the Bellator makes its first ever stop in Boise, Idaho. The first defense of the middleweight world title by Rafael Carvalho against the legendary striker Melvin Manoff. Going to be great to see Pat Curran back in the Bellator cage against Georgi Karahanian, but we still have one piece of business left tonight.
Up next, the baddest man on the planet, Joe Warren, faces undefeated Darian Caldwell in a battle of bantamweight contenders. It's the main event when Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, returns. Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, live on Spike, is brought to you by Nasacort Allergy 24-Hour. Nothing is more effective for the treatment of nasal allergy symptoms, even congestion. And by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It was the most watched event in Bellator history. It certainly was the most talked about. Now, another chance to see it and judge for yourself. Tomorrow night, free on Spike at 9 o'clock. Kimbo Donna and Gracie Shamrock. And the return of PBC is April 1st. Always fun to watch Adrian Broner fight.
Yeah, not just the fighting skills, the attitude, the swagger he brings every time. And Ashley Theophane, a very tough Brit looking for the upset. But this is why the upset is so difficult. Adrian Broner, tight combinations. He's fought on so many big stages. He knows how to be a champion. Theophane, a tough brawler for England with punching power of his own.
Part of the money team. Press conference the other day. Maybe you know this guy.
I don't think this is going to be an easy fight for Adrian. And I tell both fighters, you know, push yourself to the limit, because that's what it's really about. You know, giving the fans what they want to see.
You know, I respect Floyd. You know, I even respect Ashley, but at the end of the day, they're not on my side. Because right now, they coming to dethrone me. Right now, they my enemy right now, and that's what it is. Point blank, period. So, hell yeah, I'm going to beat the shit out of Ashley.
He said he's going to take me out within 4 rounds, so he's not going to run around the ring. He's going to come straight at me. And, you know, April 1st, we're going to make this happen. I know he like to call me easy money. There's going to be some hard money here, boy. Some hard money. This ain't going to be no easy fight, because I'm coming to war.
April Fool's Day, Jimmy. No joke.
That's right. Both guys have a tough fight in front of them. Can't wait to see it.
Locker Cam brought to you by Nasacort Allergy 24. Nothing is more effective for treatment of nasal allergy symptoms. Darian Caldwell has a simple career plan. Beat Joe Warren, beat Alvaro Dantas for the world title, defend it 15 times, and then retire. But you know what? The OG, Joe Warren, has altered the plans of many young fighters over the years. Warren Caldwell, the main event, is next. The main event is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time. Joe Warren has rewritten many scripts of many young fighters with many different kinds of plans. Joe Warren and Darian Caldwell, next. Already a big night for Baby Joe Timinglo, Bubba Jenkins, and Fernando Gonzalez. They are in the winner's circle as we move to the main event. Sean and Jimmy, we've been together, 7 months now, and in that time...
Feels like forever.
I know
Go
it
ahead.
does.
Yeah.
It's in a good way and a bad way. Here's what I've observed. Ben Ryder, 16-0, lost to a more experienced fighter. Brandon Halsey, Chris Honeycutt, young undefeated fighters, lost to more experienced fighters. When I asked Joe Warren about facing someone who was undefeated the other day, his eyes lit up.
And Joe Warren is the kind of guy who's been in the deep end of the pool from the beginning of his career. He knows what it's like to be young and undefeated for a whole 2 fights. He likes crushing dreams. That's what he lives for.
He's been doing it for a long time, and he's got the chance to crush Darrion Caldwell tonight. Joe Warren, one of the most visible faces in Bellator history. Darrion Caldwell tonight introduces himself to the world.
I love the combat. You're in some deep shit. Jumping into the cage with me. You feel me?
Working on the choke. Scott not just winning, dominating. Darrion Caldwell's coaches, I think, have the same feeling as the guys who loaded the atom bomb onto the plane in World War II. We have a weapon nobody knows about, that no one has seen. That's Darrion Caldwell.
It's like a trigger just goes off my head.
He's going for it. That's it. Everybody in Bellator is on notice now.
I'm gonna make this plain and simple. I got a violent focus to get back on top.
Joe Warren is a guy people love to hate. He pisses everywhere he goes. I mean, that's what he does. He loves talking trash. He loves riling guys up.
It's not that I'm shit talking. I'm just telling you the truth. That the baddest man on the planet is coming for your heart, coming for your soul.
What gets lost in all of this is the heart he shows every time he fights.
I deal with adversity well. I've been knocked out and I've had my belts taken. But I'm right back here to knock someone out and get my belt back.
So for Darrion Caldwell to knock off a guy who has defeated Patricio Pitbull, Georgie Karahanian, so many world champions, Eduardo Dantes, to add that pelt to your wall, he could be the man at 135, especially if he smokes Joe Warren.
Getting in that cage, he's going to have to deal with the baddest man.
Whoa!
I bring a force and a forward pressure that no one's ever felt.
He tapped. It's over.
I'm a badder motherfucker than you, Joe. And I'm gonna prove it tonight. Talk is cheap. I let my performance show.
The winner of this fight almost certainly gets a title shot. They're certainly the #1 contender.
World title, that's my only goal. I'm coming for it. That strap is going on my waist, yo.
Put people in front of me, 10 years younger, I'll beat the living shit out of you and get that belt. I'm violent. I'm a killer. I'm unstoppable. There's no way anyone stops me in that cage.
And now, set to make his way to the cage, Darrion Caldwell.
When you think of athletic achievements at North Carolina State, you immediately conjure an image of Jim Valvano and the '83 national title team. But in 2009, it was Darrion Caldwell that survived and advanced to the NCAA final. And just as Tony Wittenberg and Thurl Bailey and Sidney Lowe had done decades earlier, Darrion Caldwell shocked the world, upsetting wrestling's Akeem Olajuwon at that point, Brent Metcalf of Iowa. And just like college, his pro career has been a well-kept secret, very well executed. His secret is out, Jimmy, and now we find out if his success continues.
And the way he came at Brent Metcalf, another wrestling match you have to see. Go to YouTube, check it out. I remember the commentators saying, man, no respect, coming out with throws, unorthodox takedowns. He just exploded, and Metcalf wasn't ready for the dynamic athletic attack of Darrion Caldwell. Well, that's how he has fought. That's what has translated to his MMA career.
Jimmy's Keys to Victory brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Stay outside. It's a great low single leg. You can shoot from far away. Don't get into a Greco match, and be ready for deep water. You can beat the crap out of Joe Warren for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It doesn't matter. Be ready for 15.
Darrion Caldwell talked about him being under the radar. He doesn't want to be under the radar. He said it was terrible. This is where he wants to be, with the world watching in the main event.
And now running to make his way to the cage, the baddest man on the planet,
cat gets 9 lives, a fighter often gets just 1, not this guy. When Joe Warren began his career in Japan in 2009, he was given no shot against the 17-1 Kid Yamamoto, check. 13-1 Georgie Onion, check. Like Darian Caldwell, Patricio Pitbull was undefeated in the rising, so was Joe Soto, check. And check, even the brutal knockout loss to Pat Curran, the kind that ends some careers, Joe Warren got better. Jimmy, many have written off Joe Warren, many have thought they were better than Joe Warren. They're all sitting at home tonight watching Joe Warren in another main event.
Yeah, he's so good at proving people wrong. There are times where I thought he was done. He comes back, like you said, looks better. He learns from his mistakes. He never mentally gets out of the game, never loses confidence. And the first thing he'll tell you, he's still confident.
Jimmy's Keys for Joe Warren, brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Chest to chest, Joe Warren, a Greco-Roman world champion. He wants an inside kind of game and control the pace. Taking on a younger, more athletic fighter, slow him down, wear down Darian Caldwell, make it a Joe Warren kind of fight.
The Tale of Tape brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Look at a height and reach advantage for Darian Caldwell. How will he use it?
Main event time, Michael C. Williams time.
Live on Spike, Miller Lite presents Bellator MMA from WinStar World Casino and Resort. The time has come for the main event of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Sanctioned by the Chickasaw Nation Office of the Gaming Commissioner, Mr. Scott Colbert. Tonight's main event is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. It's Miller time. And now, first introducing the blue corner at 5'10", weighing in 135.6 pounds as a professional. He stands undefeated, 8 victories, no defeats. By way of Rockaway, New Jersey, he fights out of Tempe, Arizona. Introducing Darian "The Wolf" Caldwell. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'6", he weighed in 135.2 pounds. The two-weight class former Bellator world champion enters tonight with 13 professional victories, 4 defeats, fighting out of Monument, Colorado. Introducing the baddest man on the planet, Joe Warren. In charge of the action, your referee, Dan Magliano.
All right, gentlemen, been through the rules of the locker room. I want you to be at my commands at all time. I want you to protect yourselves at all time. Any questions from either one of you? Touch glove? All right, don't do it. Thank you, guys.
Joe Warren won the Bantamweight World title in this building. He lost the Bantamweight World title in this building. Tonight, another opportunity to reinvent himself and earn one more shot at what he calls his belt.
All right, you ready, sir? You ready, sir? Let's go, fight.
The fight clock in the main event brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Early takedown by Darian Caldwell. The question, how will Joe Warren handle being on his back?
Darian Caldwell's ankle pick against Sean Bunch his last time out. Speaking of wrestling credentials, you literally had to slow it down when you watched it again.
Go with that cage. Get your fingers out of the cage.
Darian Caldwell was complaining to the ref about something. I think it was Joe Warren holding his gloves, but I couldn't hear him. There's something when you're a fighter and you know I'm better at you at this one thing, and suddenly that's taken away from you. Joe Warren might get the takedown in this fight, but not at will like he's used to doing.
Darian Caldwell unloading here. To beat Joe Warren, you must be relentless.
Can't let him off the hook once you get him hurt.
Now, here's the thing about Darian Caldwell's 8 wins. They've been split in half. He's won 4 fights in the first half of the first round. Once he has gone past 2.5 minutes, the other 4 have all gone to this.
Get your fingers out of his glove, Joe.
I think recently, in his last few fights, he's been a better finisher. He's added offensive weapons to his wrestling. When he first started, probably just a wrestler, holding guys down, but didn't have the skills to finish them. Now he does. And he is all over Joe Warren, positionally speaking. Look, it's a pure wrestling ride. Not trying to put the hooks in. There's This is folk-style wrestling right here.
He's been listening to everybody say Joe Warren's going to put pressure on him, and it's Darrion Caldwell doing just that here in round one. How busy is Joe Warren's schedule? He hopes to win this fight, become the #1 contender, and still has hopes of qualifying for the Olympic team. That's his dream. He wants one more shot at it, and he'll do that early next month.
Joe right now just trying to survive, trying to work his wrestling escapes, but Darrion Caldwell not letting him off the hook.
Oh my goodness.
Just dumped him. Those are the kind of moves Joe Warren's used to pulling out of people. Did it to Georgie Karahani. Said it before, slams like that, they don't necessarily do a lot of damage, but man, they are demoralizing.
We often talk, Jimmy, how many times have we said a young fighter in a position where he's never been before? Joe Warren might be in some positions he's never been before.
Go for the rear naked. It's under the neck. This might be done.
Trying to flatten him out. Joe Warren is flat. He's out, and it's done. And we have a new era in the bantamweight division.
Not just a win, pure dominance by Darrion Caldwell. Wasn't even close.
He's waking up
man.
now. Be ready,
The higher he goes, the faster he goes. The Darrion Caldwell Express is gaining steam.
So just relax and back feel again, right?
Against the guy who recently held the belt. And there wasn't a competitive second in this fight.
Darrion Caldwell sending a signal to Marcos Galvão. He has his eyes set on the bantamweight world title. Beyond impressive. Joe Warren back up. The knee took a lot of damage. That's what he was favoring, as he was choked out by Darrion Caldwell in beyond impressive fashion. Let's check out the Black Card Premium Spice Rum replay. The bold 93 proof rum that is edgy to the core. This was a no-hitter, a perfect game pitched by Darrion Caldwell.
I would say this whole fight was a highlight for Darrion Caldwell. Look at the lift on this takedown. Beautiful 5-point throw in freestyle. Beautiful stuff. But look, he doesn't let him go. He stays on him, is tenacious. Look at the choke. Just one hook in. We've seen him do this before. He's so long. He's so athletic. Once he's under the chin, you are done. Joe Warren, no exception. Been in there with black belts before. Never submitted like this all the way out. Beautiful job by Darrion Caldwell. You are looking at the future, ladies and gentlemen.
That flip is the only thing about Darrion Caldwell that's going backwards. Let's make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the rear naked choke in deep and the fighter out on the canvas, the end comes officially 3 minutes, 23 seconds into round number 1. The winner by technical submission, Darrion "The Wolf" Caldwell.
He is a best-kept secret no longer. Darrion Caldwell, 9-0, the #1 contender with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with your winner, Darrion "The Wolf" Caldwell. Dominance from start to finish. How did that feel?
It felt good. I felt right at home. I'd like to thank all my sponsors, my coaches, all my teammates. Big win for us tonight.
The champ, of course, Marcos Galvão. He has the belt. What is your message to him?
Fuck you, Marcus. You're a pussy.
Wow, there you have it. Darrion Caldwell, ladies and gentlemen.
What the message lacked in subtlety, it delivered in import. Darrion Caldwell is ready for his world title shot. Marcos Galvão and Eduardo Dantas originally scheduled a fight in October. Dantas pulled out. second fight scheduled for last Friday night. Galvo could not go. When they eventually get it settled, waiting in the wings will be the undefeated, untested, and quite clearly unfazed Darrion Caldwell. An extraordinary night, capped by an unforgettable performance by Darrion Caldwell when you consider how many times Joe Warren has defied the experts. Tonight, he was simply no match for one of the rising young stars in the sport. A night in which Fernando Gonzalez advanced in the welterweight division. A night when Baby Joe Taiminglo stepped up in the bantamweight division to score a decision win over Sirwan Kakai. Bubba Jenkins considered by many to be the underdog against that submission ace, Goichi Yamauchi, but Bubba Jenkins, using his wrestling, confident even in the guard of Goichi Yamauchi, scored himself a unanimous decision victory, and a very important one at 145. Fernando Gonzalez looking across the cage at Gilbert Smith, looking for his 5th consecutive win, trying to challenge the winner of Benson Henderson and Andrei Koreshkov for the welterweight world title. A split decision win for Fernando Gonzalez. But when we remember this night, we will remember that man, the Wolf, Darrion Caldwell, stepping out of the shadows into the main event and simply decimating Joe Warren. The night belongs to Darrion Caldwell, the #1 contender at Bellator.
One of the wildest nights in MMA history. Now with never-before-seen footage. Nothing you can do can hurt me. See the encore of Kimbo Slice and Donna 5000.
Beautiful shot.
And Shamrock versus Gracie.
Whoa!
Bellator MMA. Tomorrow at 9 on Spike.